Hello everyone, this is Vignesh here and I'm here to talk to you about Vibecontrols, a product that we are launching today. So Vibecontrols is meant to be a developer control plane. So every developer uses a lot of different tools every day for different purposes as part of their workflow. So you may use a terminal session, you may connect to remote servers, you may use AI tools, you may expose your services via tunnels, you may connect with sandboxes, you may collaborate with others on documentation, you may have your own code editors and so on and so forth. So all these actually have a costly impact on your everyday workflow, which is context switching. So the main focus of Vibecontrols to act like a fabric where all your developer workflows can work seamlessly on top of. To act like a control plane which can stitch together all your workflows into one place. So that's what Vibecontrols is all about. Now, before we get started, we need to understand these concepts so that you get a grip of what Vibecontrols can do. First, let's start with targets. Targets are like any environment which you want to work on or control. So it can be your local laptop, it can be a remote server, it can be an IoT device like Raspberry Pi or anything which you can actually have access to or want to control. So that's a target. So agents are processes running in those targets, and the purpose of agent is to manage and control the respective environment and all the things in it. So for example, you may want to execute some command in the target environment, we do it via agent. You want to schedule a process, or you want to talk to AI tools in the target environment, whatever that you want to do in the target, you control it via agent. It's a small daemon or process running in your target. Sessions are like persistent connections against your target, again controlled by agent. Vibe plugins and vibes. So vibes are nothing but projects. So assume that you have multiple customers. You may be managing multiple projects for each customer or multiple projects for multiple customers. So each of them are vibes. So not just for customer, assume that we are building a product. The product is itself a vibe. So vibe is nothing but a project with context. Vibe plugins are like extensions to what the Vibecontrols platform offers, which really makes Vibecontrols platform highly extendable and powerful. For example, assume that you want to expose a tunnel. You have a tunnel plugin. Assume that you want to do AI agent integration. You have AI plugins. GitOps automation, GitOps plugins, security scanning, security plugins, and so on and so forth. So you have access to a lot of plugins, and so far all the Vibe plugins which we have released is open source. Yeah, so you can pretty much play around with it or build your own plugins as well. So this is the basics of Vibecontrols you need to start with. Let's get to a demo. We can probably walk through all the pieces of Vibecontrols. Let me start by picking up this command. Now assume that the use case is that I want to control my laptop. My laptop is in my house and I want to control my laptop remotely from some other place. Assume that my house is in India and I am traveling to US. If I want to control my laptop, I can pretty much have this process installed in my laptop. So right now this is running in a Linux VM, but yeah, the same is applicable cross platform as well. This agent is cross platform. It will work in Linux, Mac and Windows. So I have installed my agent basically with just single line of curl command, and I do wipe start. Wipe start will start my daemon process. It will ask for all the plugins I want to have installed. So it allows me to choose. There are some required plugins which you cannot toggle off, but there are plugins you can optionally choose based on what your needs are. So assume that I want to do AI orchestration, I go for AI orchestration plugin, and so on and so forth. So I accept, and once I do this, it installs all the relevant plugins. in my target environment where I want to control. Now that this is done, it's going to do a few things. So it's going to give me a tunnel URL and API key. These are the two important things I need to connect to my target environment. So assume that I want to control this environment. I click on add agent. I specify, okay, this is agent running on my development VM. I say development agent, development VM agent. I create first target. So it is running on my development VM. So I say Vignesh development VM. So it is creating a target behind the scenes. I paste the tunnel URL which I got from the agent, paste the API key, and I click on validate. I add the agent. And it's just connecting, so that's why it's showing as degraded. Yep, now it's active. So now I can start sessions in my target. So assume that I want to open up my terminal. All I have to do is give a name to my session. I say testing session, and I specify the agent where I want to connect. And this agent is what I select. This was what was installed in my Linux development VM, and I just click on create session. So when I do so, what you are able to see is it got into my Linux VM. So I just say ls, I see a directory called hello. Let me go back to my VM and I say ls, I see the same hello here as well. Let me say rm hello, rmrf hello. You got the directory removed. So that's a quick background about sessions. So sessions, you can open multiple sessions and these are persisted. I mean, you can just close it and you can always come back and reopen. It will not go anywhere. So you will continue where you left off. So the next step is vibes. And as I mentioned, sessions are cross-platform. So vibes are projects. So assume that I want to build a vibe. Let me archive these vibes. Vibes are projects. So assume that I am building, let's say, a social media application, social media platform. I specify the path to the platform. I say products. I specify the agent which is installed in the place where the vibe is actually set up. So I say create. Now it created a vibe called social media platform. And now when I click on this, I see all these things. So as you see here, this is the context. So I am building a social media platform, and against this, I can maintain my notes of the project. I can maintain the documentation of the project, scorecard, catalog, APIs, and so on and so forth. So this acts like a context of everything I want to do in my project. So as you might want to take a note, I say social media, I mean test note about Vibecontrols integration. I save the note and it will get saved in context. So assume I want to create documentation. I click on docs and I see the option to select the documentation provider. I can go for Docusaurus. I say create documentation. Okay. Now I am clicking on add your first page. When I do so, it will give me option to add my pages. Documentation on social media platform. Just updating this, and I click on compile. When I click on compile, what it is doing is it is behind the scenes building my Docusaurus website, which I can use for my own use, or I can share it with others as well. So once that is available, you pretty much have documentation in context of your project. So that is about docs. Similarly, you have other things as well. So it is building the doc behind the scenes via a sandbox. But yeah, there are other things like you can maintain catalogs. Catalogs is like a menu card. So if you go to a restaurant, there are menu cards, right? So and you have items in the menu card. So every project will have a catalog, and there will be items in the catalog which are components. So now meanwhile this project has this documentation has gotten published. So let me go and preview it. So you see the documentation is here, documentation on social media platform. So this is the first piece of what is offered. So assume that you are using AI tools and you want to share details about the project you are having, the notes you have, the catalogs, the documentation, and so on. Assume that you want to go to social media. You want to do a research. Let's say you want to do a market research on social media platforms out there, and you want to see what you can do differently. For giving any such analysis to AI tools will require context about what you are really trying to do. So first they would need things like what are you trying to do, what are the various aspects which is unique about you, and so on and so forth. So this can be used as a way to share context with LLM tools. You can just pick what you want to share: core, agent, sessions, notes, catalogs, documentation, and so on. And you can choose the expiry of the URL, and you will get a temporarily shareable link, signed URL, which you can share with any coding agent. And that will be used as context, and you can use that to do all your prompts further. So that's LLM context. So like this we have a lot of other items as well. So but before I go for other items, I would probably keep it for a next video, because we still have things to cover about AI, catalog, wipe decks, tunnels, scheduler. There are so many things in the platform, and we are just getting started, audit logs, and so on. So rather than putting all of it in this video, I'll probably split it into videos, and follow us in YouTube and even other channels, and keep in touch. Sign up for Vibecontrols at vibecontrols.com. You can read through all the use cases in vibecontrols.com as well. If you go to vibecontrols.com, you will see all the use cases here with all the details, what you can do with the platform, just to give a gist of what it can do. You can explore that further, and waiting to see all your feedback about the platform, and see what you do with it. Thank you.